So the first thing we're going to do is just have a brief introduction of everybody, and then, we can move on to the next topic and the next topic and the next topic. So we can just go, we'll have Christell go first.
So my name is Christell Chesney, and I am currently doing my Master's in Conservation and Rural Development at the University of Kent in the United Kingdom. I am an academic student, so I am a postgrad taught student, but I undertake a capstone or a research project at the end of my program. And one fun fact about me is, although I've been doing a lot of research work around animals, I have a particular bias to just working more with community and people. And so, yeah, that's about me.
So that's awesome. So now that we have that, so that was really cool, actually. So let's have Janice go next.
Okay, so hi, my name is Janice Roberts. I'm originally from Grenada. I did my undergrad degree at the St. George's University in marine wildlife and conservation biology. I then followed my studies at the Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. I'm currently doing my master's degree in environmental science, specializing in chemistry and toxicology. Right now, I'm currently in the process of finishing my program. A fun fact, I don't really do anything fun, but I guess I like cooking during my spare time, so.
That is a perfect hobby. Cooking is something I do during lockdown as well. I mean, anybody who's followed my social media will know I have like so many recipes that I've just been trying out for this during this pandemic. So next we'll have Shanell.
So good night, because it's night here. My name is Shanell Cyrus. My program, Environmental Engineering, originally from Grenada, currently studying in China, postgraduate at Suzhou University of Science and Technology. My research interests, to be honest, I'm really not sure which direction I'm taking yet, but hopefully I get there sometime. And fun fact about me, I don't know what's a fun fact about me. I just really miss the beach, that's all.
I feel that, missing the beach. I miss a lot of things because I'm just stuck at home. I don't like the four walls around me. I can't wait to get out. But that's cool. So if Quincy would like to introduce, do you want to introduce yourself? Because I can't see a video for Quincy. So let's just have.
Yeah, apparently I'm not in the best, not in the best appearance for camera right at the moment. So I had to keep the camera off. However, well, as I mentioned before, I am from Grenada, and currently I'm not studying at the moment as yet, but I'm hope to do that soon, most likely next year. And projects that I'm mainly focused on right about now is most on researching bats and seabirds, and of course the climate change project that I'm doing with the research department at St. George's University. And fun fact about me, well, due to COVID, I should say, thanks to COVID, I mean, not in that sort of context, but I'm able to get my health back in check. And so I've been, exercising and stuff during the lockdown. So yeah, that's about it.
That's a good golden motive to have during four walls time. Awesome. So let's move on to the first topic, which is changes in your college or university, which is like in general in like your area. What changes have been occurred to like students in general? Yeah. So we can just have Christell go first, and then we can just like go around to see what everybody has to say, and then we can have a little discussion at the end.
So my university has been impacted by the pandemic, In the earlier parts of it, it was the case where we had a lot of health and safety protocols that we need to go through in terms of washing our hands and using the sanitation stations around the university campus. But like everywhere else around the world, the University of Kent has had to close its doors off to in-class sessions. Um, and so it has moved teaching from being in person to virtual settings. So for the most part as well, you know, activities that would be within the classroom are now held online. Seminars, lectures are now held online.
Yeah, that seems to be the case around the world, a lot of other places, but it's nice to hear that a lot of other places are doing the same thing. I think we here have both options in certain universities, like you can still come in, but again, it depends on university to university. So let's have Jenese go next.
Okay, so similarly, SIUE had to close their doors. However, I was still unemployed there, so I still had to go into work for like 2 weeks before my boss sent me home. However, students that are still doing research, I think they still have access to the building. However, they had to send, I think they had to gain access from the dean. And I think their entrance is more of based on a schedule. Let's say a few students I think it's allowed by like 2 o'clock, from 2 to 4. And after that, then another 2 can come in. So that's been the rotation right now at SIUE.
Yeah, I think that's really similar to what we're doing. So I have to get COVID tested before I can go back to the lab, and we have like 2 people in the lab. So I'm really nervous about the actual test. Just like, I don't know, because I've been at home, but at the same time, I do go out for grocery shopping once every 2 weeks. I always used to be anyway, like really like, I don't like grocery shopping. I just get everything delivered if possible. But again, but it's still like, you know, a nervous situation. Do they just get tested and go back? But it is very similar to what we have, because we have to get dean approval and then HR approval to get back to the lab. So we'll have Shanell go next.
Okay, so I think my situation would be kind of different from everyone. Well, in terms of when the lockdown actually started, because on this side, well, I wouldn't say this side of the world, but in China, the winter break starts in January. So we have, while everyone finishes in December, we finish in January. And so my entire winter break was spent inside, you know, in this pandemic. So we've been on lockdown. The school officially didn't allow us to go outside since February of this year. So we had lockdown until February, and they only let us exit the campus in June. So I was inside on campus for 4 months. Added that to the time from last year because there was finals, so wasn't really doing anything but studying, and then spent my entire winter break inside, and then spent the entire second semester inside campus. So we just had to switch to as online classes. We were already, inside the campus and in the building, so we switched to online classes. We would have to wear masks around campus. They took our temperatures every day. Like someone would come take our temperatures every day at our rooms. So that was the restrictions that we had during the time.
That seems not fun, and I do get it. So I was supposed to have my cousin come over too, but unfortunately she's currently in the middle of a forest, so she had to go back home. But she lives in like a forest campus, so she doesn't have Wi-Fi and no data because there's a storm brewing over there. So every time it rains, no signal at all. I couldn't even get a text through to her. I haven't talked to her in a couple of days. Somehow in the middle she gets a signal. So she was supposed to talk today, but she's just going to be recording it off-site and then sending it to me. But I know that she's been stuck and without Wi-Fi, and they moved everything online. So she can't take testing either because, well, you need the internet to do testing online. So there's been a lot of issues, and she's in India. So there's just been, it's just like a whole different world across the world. So so I would definitely encourage you all to like watch the video after it's made. I'm sure you would, but definitely look for different perspectives as well. I mean, I was like, I couldn't do that. That's just too much for me. No Wi-Fi. That just seems like hell. So yeah, we'll have Quincy go next.
All right, so at the beginning of the year, I was currently at Mombasa, Kenya, doing a workshop and some back research there as well. And luckily, I was able to return back to the island in time before the lockdown officially began. Upon returning, well, the plan was actually, once I get back home, to begin doing back research on the island and also neighboring Caribbean islands. But unfortunately, we got a letter from the IUCN bat specialist group that recommended that all bat surveys to be on pause for a while until further notice. So, unfortunately, we had to, put down all our bat nets and poles and all our acoustic devices and just stay home and wait for the time being. However, with the other jobs that I'm doing, with the Caribbean Cooperative MRB Hub, my office officially had to be moved to my home. And with the Seabird project, we had to put that on pause as well. So a lot of the research that was being done basically had to be on pause until further notice. Luckily, last Sunday, we were able to go out to do our first Seabird survey for the entire year, which was quite successful. And hopefully later on in the year, we hope that we can begin bat research here as well. As long as we don't have any new cases, we believe that we can be able to get that done. There's also research that I normally go to do in Guyana with Operation Wallisia. I don't know if you've heard of it. So that as well was on we actually put it off. I was speaking to one of the members last week, and I think they're having plans of doing the research probably later on in the fall, as long as the cases reduce. And yeah, that's how it is for how it has been for basically all research. When I speak to different scientists and researchers, it's always been like the same story throughout. So we're hoping that things get better, and we definitely miss the field. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a taxing ordeal right there. So the next topic we have is changes in your specific program. I'm sure all of you guys talked about it already, so I don't know. Josette, what do you think? Do we want to talk about that specifically? Does everybody have like different things like to their specific program? Because I'm not sure if that applies to everybody, because I feel like everybody like kind of touched on it already. So do we want to have that as a separate topic, or can we just move on to the next one? Josette?
Yes, if you guys think we should move on, you could do a thumbs up. But if you want to talk about it, you could not do a thumbs. Yeah? Everybody thinks we can move on? Shanell, you want to? Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, so thank you, Josette. So the next thing is impacts on your academic career, like graduation, research opportunities, because I know a lot of students have like either lost opportunities because they weren't able to attend the lab. Labs start downsizing, like departments start downsizing. So is there been any like active impact, like you can't take your classes because you don't have access, or if you just have been impacted in some way or form by the pandemic? So we'll have Christell go first.
So yes, my academic pathway at the University of Kent was shaken up. Originally, my plan to study would be to undertake research in Antigua and Barbuda and to work along with the amazing Environmental Awareness Group, their longest run-standing NGO in the country, and to do work alongside them. Now, Corona came, and that threw everything out the window. So it basically meant that I couldn't travel anymore. It meant that I was on lockdown. It meant that I changed my field work from interacting with people face to face and being there in the country on land to trying to do it virtually. It also meant that I would have more strain on myself to get that research done in a shorter period of time. Because the original plan was for me to go there and I was going to be helped along with amazing field assistants that were going to volunteer to help me in the field. And since I'm not there anymore, I have to do all of the data collection on my own. So definitely it means that I have to now go gather the data by myself on all of it. I need to go analyze it all by myself without any assistance, which is really hard to do within that very small timeline. In addition to that, you still want to do well as an international student. And it is hard to do that when you are secluded from people, like you said, just in your four-wall box. Many of your friends that you may have had on campus would have gone home if they had the chance. Your supervisor, which you would be able to go and have a face-to-face conversation with, is now doing that online, but with less time for you because now they may have more family responsibilities. So the time that you would have originally gotten to have that guidance has now been drastically reduced because your supervisor now is in a position where he has to also deal with his family as well as juggle the work of supervising you. And so my entire career path, my research program, being able to go into a country and observe a new culture, new people, being able to work in person with an organization has totally changed. And in some ways, you could feel like your project has less value now because you're doing it from your home. And so working in this pandemic has been very challenging for me.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a common feeling because my lab also has been shut down, and a lot of things that I was supposed to do now I can't do because virtually I have to be in the lab to do my work. Like right now, I'm sure I can work on like my paper and develop some methodology, but I can't do anything unless I go to the lab. That feeling is really restricting, and I do understand that. But and I think for you, Christell, since you're in the UK, we have like affiliated like groups. Like I've seen them recently on Facebook. British Ecologist Society, I believe. If you want to like approach more people and then have like conversations with them about research and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of Facebook groups. I'll try to link them, but it's I'll link them in the chat later on, and I can send you an email later on as well. If you really want a large network of students and just professors in general, ecologists in general, I think that would be a nice thing to just reach out to. Because honestly, at this point in the pandemic, and also just in general, it's really good to have a good network of people supporting you. So I think that would be a good idea. So thanks for sharing. Yeah, thanks for sharing. We'll have Janice go next.
Okay, so for me, I would have to say that I wasn't affected as much because I was already finished, well, almost finished with my courses. I only had a few courses doing during this period. So I wasn't affected much. Everything switched to virtual, so it was just ensuring I attended my class sessions, carrying out quizzes, submitting assignments. Originally, I had registered for my commencement in May. We had a virtual commencement, and I wasn't able to even attend my virtual commencement because I had assignments due that same day. However, what I did, I still took out pictures as if I graduated. Then I had to switch. Okay, so originally I was supposed to graduate in May, but then I switched it to summer to extend my time because I wasn't done with my paper. Now I am forced to switch again to complete my paper and my defense in fall semester. Fortunately though, I have a family here that's been a huge support for me because currently I'm no longer working in school. So my sister has been the one supporting me through it all. Also, I had to apply for OPT, and I don't know if you all know, but the USCIS site, it has been temporarily closed. So that means a delay in, the OPT process. So what did you say, Josette?
What's OPT?
Okay, so it's an optional, like a training program that makes you eligible to work in the United States. Right, so I applied for that, and currently I'm waiting to receive my card to make me eligible to work here. I also looking for jobs, but I also have backup plans just in case, because COVID-19 has just turned everything upside down. So I have a plan B, which is going back to school or even returning to my home country. I'm not sure as yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, that sounds like another different sector of things, because I have a friend here who was also applying for OPT earlier on, but unfortunately she got it approved. But again, it is a big issue, but at least you have a sister that's supporting you. That's awesome. So we all need our little support systems. I have my sister. Well, she's living with me because she's a high school senior, but I feel like that's really important to have that support system. Well, so again, for you, for everybody here, I would definitely suggest going to our Facebook page. So in our Facebook page, you'll have all the groups that we have liked. So a lot of them will be like specific communities for different, kind of sets. Like we have a bunch of them. I mean, I honestly try to get as many groups as we can, and there's not many, but I just really try to get like different fields so that we reach out to a lot more people. So definitely do check it out. Have you guys seen our Facebook page? I am not sure. If you've seen it, thumbs up. No, nobody. Josette, even you haven't seen our Facebook page yet. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I was about to say like that would have been really bad, because I mean that means I'm not doing a well enough job with this. I am going to link our Facebook page down here, so if you guys can go and check it out, then you can definitely see under like groups we follow or pages we like. You can definitely go and check that out, because that will have a lot of resources for you as well. I could have done this before for Christell. The group it's very easy to find it if I just go through our Facebook page. Just give me 1 second, let me do that real quick. No, so many ads. There it is. There's a bunch of groups from the British Ecological Society group. So I'm just going to send you one that I find right now. But again, there's going to be a bunch of them. So you can definitely reach out to multiple groups if you'd like. So that's the group for the British Ecological Society Tropical Ecology Group. There's also one for just the British Ecological Society and a bunch of other ones as well. So if you can just like scroll through it, you'll find all of them. So we'll have Shanell go next. I want to take.
Yes, well, fortunately for me, there hasn't been any impacts, I would say, because it was just classes online and, ensuring that you get assignments, you meet deadlines and so forth, because I haven't started my research yet. So we have 1 year to do our research. So I'll be starting soon, hopefully. So I haven't been impacted as much as the others by it. So currently we're on summer break. And things are lighter here while, it started here. So things are lighter here now. People are more relaxed, especially in my city. There hasn't been cases in a very, very long time. So now everything is basically, I would say, back to normal compared to the rest of the world. So no really impacts on my research or academics for the period.
Well, that's great news to hear. And it's also something that it's sort of surprising because I was still under the impression that most of the world was still like vastly affected by this, but it's nice to hear that there are countries and there are places that are recovering. So that's good to hear. It gives us hope that we'll be back on track sooner than we expected. Um, well, with that, let's have Quincy go now.
Yes. Well, before the pandemic, a lot of our meetings were virtually. This is due to because 80%, or I should say 90% of the staff are from outside of Grenada. So we would have a lot of our staff meetings online. Um, as I mentioned, a lot of the research that we had were, put on pause for a while, but also a lot of the workshops, those conferences that we would have had throughout the island, all that were postponed as well. So this year I had like a series of presentations to do throughout the Caribbean and workshops, and they all were postponed and put off for next year. There are some that have switched to virtual as well, like the ESA, and also there's a bird workshop at Puerto Rico that has been switched to virtual as well. So we see a lot of that happening, and some folks are. I mean, we don't like it, but at the same time, that's what we have to work with in the meantime. For example, for the bat research that we have going on, we had a bat tweeter. So basically, we we basically have like presentations on Twitter. So we post up clips of our presentations, work that we did, and just put a quick note about it, at the end of each picture that we would have posted, and it was very successful. And I've seen a lot of that happening now with other conferences, and a lot of people were able to adjust nicely to it. Like I said, we don't like it. We of course we like to have that sort of physical, a physical view to everything. But at the same time, due to the circumstances that we face at the moment, we basically have to adjust to suit. So yeah. Another thing is that the workshops, for example, I had a workshop in Belize, and they themselves had to make some adjustments as well. So we see a lot of that happening, throughout, the entire Caribbean and in most countries. So yeah, that's about it.
That is a very interesting perspective, and I know the Twitter hashtag thing. I've seen so many fields do the same thing. They do one hashtag and there's a whole thread, and I've also seen like so many like 2020 graduate threads, like, oh, I finally managed to graduate amidst the pandemic, which is really nice, and just to have a lot of PhD dissertations done that way. That is something, because I've been following that PhD hashtag for a while because we did that webinar with the graduate students. So I was like looking through like topics that I could find to talk about, and one of those things was like people like posting their dissertation, like clips of their dissertations on Twitter, and then links to like their entire dissertation to invite them sort of. And that was really cool to see, because even though we're all inside four walls, we still managed to find a way to get our research, get our work out there. And that was really cool. Go ahead, Josette.
Yeah. So before we start on our last topic, one thing that I forgot to add into the agenda that we can overlook is our mental health, because being isolated and being quarantined can affect us, and that's something we might not necessarily consider. We might be like, oh, research and classes, but I wanted to just give space for that. And if you want, you could even group it with your de-stress. You could say like how your mental health is affected and how you de-stress to make yourself feel better. So if you want, you can group it into like one little episode. If you want.
That's a great idea, Josette. I was just about to say that. And also, we both should jump in as well, because we haven't really been giving our perspective, because I'm pretty sure there'll be it'll be cool for them to like hear our perspective from our programs as well. So I'll go first, and then we'll just kind of just get the line started up again. So now our topic is going to be mental health, how we're dealing with it by de-stressing and having fun. I'll reintroduce myself. This is Ajisha Alwin. I'm a grad student, currently taking a bit of a break at the University of Florida. I study microbiology, and particularly host pathogen interactions. I work with the norovirus. So that's like, I work with the murine norovirus. So I study the interactions in the gut of the virus. So that's what I do for a living. And right now, I am inside four walls. I'm trying desperately to get back into the lab. With regards to mental health, I definitely would say I'm a very going out to the lab person. I love the lab. And for me to be away from the lab, it's really hard for me. At the same time, I have two things that I do that I love to do, and that's both of those things are out of here. So I play a sport. I professionally play a sport. I play badminton. And again, I can't go there either because I don't want to risk going to the gym right now because it's not safe. So two of my most favorite things to do is currently outside of my four walls. And that really does have an impact because I wasn't able to participate in the nationals this year because it got canceled, but a lot of different things. But I would say the way I de-stress and like kind of just cope with all of this is just take your mind away from it by reading books and also watching like a lot of anime. I've talked about this before in like a lot of other webinars. Netflix is like my new best friend, and other like websites is like my new best friend now. So I just read and just like have fun. And now I just had my sister moved in, so I'm helping her in like her senior year. She's doing high school online, well, virtually. She's in the IB program, so it's a little different than online school for her. So she's also going to be recording her own little bit about how IB school is different during the pandemic a little bit later because she's sleeping right now. I have never seen her wake up this early before. Well,
Ajisha, in case we don't know,
9:45 in the morning.
What's IB? You said she's an IB.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, International Baccalaureate program. So that is, it's a program that's a little different than, American high schools have like normal like high school classes. They have AP, which is advanced placement, which counts as college credit sometimes if they get the grade up. And then IB is like similar to AP classes, but it's a little more advanced. So it prepares them for like advanced career paths. So she's in the IB program. She's actually in like one of the top rankings in our class. So she could aim for Ivy League. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get her her career path set straight. She just figured out a major, so that made me, actually that honestly was, when we talk about mental health, I was really like thinking about a lot of different priorities, and one of my major priorities is getting my sister figuring out her major, and then, apart from me. So she figured out her major, and I was just like jumping all over the place. She decided on wildlife ecology and conservation, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I wanted her to figure out her major, now she did. So now she's like figuring out what she wanted to do there. And on my side, I just spend time with her. That's my way of de-stressing this. We just go on walks, we stay at home, we watch stuff together. That's our way of fun. I took sketching for a little bit, but I now don't have time because I'm like in the computer all day editing stuff for the annual meeting. So de-stressing for me is like, there's a lot of things I do. It's just what I feel like doing at the time. Music helps a lot of the times. It's music. I listen to music. It just helps me clear my head, not think about all those scary things that are just probably going to happen to you. Because I'm an international student as well. I mean, I was at risk for a long time, and now being here, I just consider it as a blessing. So I'm just going to leave it at that and not really rattle my head with all of the possibilities. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong, but I think that having that handle and support system is what helps you with your, stress situation or mental health situation. What about you, Josette?
So for me, being in quarantine was an adjustment at first, because I had that mind block of I need to be in school to be productive. I can't study, like I must go in school to study, like that's how I operate. So when it was like, oh, you have to be here, I couldn't at first, like in terms of getting on classes, staying on assignments without somebody like over your shoulder telling you to get it done. Like I had to learn to become self-motivated and to be disciplined and to be like, Josette, you can't sleep all day, but you need to get up. You need to go do your work. So that had been really challenging the first couple of weeks. Like I was just not very efficient. But I've learned a lot, and I talk to my parents every day. My mother calls me twice a day, like, you know, so that helps a lot. Just knowing that they're good and they're keeping me in the loop with Trinidad and how coronavirus is going there, and just for hearing that everybody's fine. And a lot of my friends have reached out to me because they know that I'm in the States, and they know the States is like going crazy with Corona. So a lot of people have been like, Josette, like, how are you? Like, we're here for you if you need somebody to talk to. Um, so yeah, I've been trying to be better with my health, exercising more. I've been trying to just use this time to like focus on the big picture, because we can get so caught up in grad school and what we're doing right now. We're just like, this is it. But this has given me time to reflect and be like, where do I want to take my life? What do I want to do in the next 10 years? Like, what is the big picture? So I'm grateful for that time to really do those things.
Yeah, looking at the big picture. But like, I look at the big picture sometimes, and even that scares me sometimes. Like, where am I gonna go? Because there's a lot of things that are really uncertain. Because international student, I have to get my PhD first, and then work. And after that, that's just a whole different cycle. Like, you have to take care of your finances. You have to pay rent, all in that tiny siphon. You're gonna be thinking about a million things. So I'm like, I'm not gonna think about it right now. I'm gonna focus on the programs that I want to look into. And I am looking into a lot of different programs, even out of the country now, because I'm broadening my prospects, because I want to make sure I have the most best environment to study in. And my sister's going to be coming with me, so I want to make sure she's having the best environment, because we want to move in together. Well, she's already moved in now, but like anywhere I take my PhD, she wants to apply to the same school, so we try to end up in the same place. So that's a priority for me. So making sure that we both can take care of each other and also take care of our own career path at the same time. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. I don't even want to think about what I'm going to do after I enter the PhD right now. I'm like, it's going to be smooth sailing. It's probably not going to be, but I'm just going to think it's going to be smooth sailing and that I can handle it. So that's my perspective on like taking on things that way. What about you, Christell? Let's hear from you next.
Well, like I mentioned before, going through the pandemic right now, especially as an international student in a country that you may not have family, because I don't have any family here, and you know, the friends that I have here are those that I made along the way for the year of doing my master's. So you kind of do feel like you are doing it by yourself, especially when I started to see a lot of my friends and my family go home. Like, and I call them family, like my really close friends. When I see them pack their suitcase and jump on a plane and head home, it started to really get to me. Another thing too is I stayed at student accommodation. And so I was so accustomed to seeing the hustle and bustle of students, so accustomed to seeing the Amazon man come with 10 million parcels for students and the food trucks coming with food for students, that seeing less and less of it was actually starting to affect my well-being. It was so difficult for me even to go into the little supermarket shops that we have on campus for us and find empty shelves. You know, it started to really dawn that this is something that is so serious, but I'm somehow going through this by myself. And it really then led to a reduced productivity. So I wasn't turning out as much as I would. I would take longer to get out of bed. I'd want to talk to people, but I'd be so tired of picking up my cell phone or jumping online to Zoom because that's so exhausting. So I then felt as though I was being unproductive, and I was being upset for being unproductive because you want to do your best. The reason you put yourself in these positions to be able to study overseas is because you have become the best and because you have put yourself to gain that scholarship or to get that funding or to complete that application, to do what it takes to get there. And knowing that you are not doing your best is so stressful. But you can't help it. because it is taking a toll on you. So luckily for me though, although I was going downhill, I had a great support system at my university. It is so strong when it comes to student well-being at the University of Kent. So other than getting my supervisor checking up on me, and he was so grateful. I'm so grateful for my supervisor checking up on me and making sure that I'm fine. Other faculty members would pop in to see how students are doing. The university had a lot of different things for us to do indoors. You had cooking sessions, you had yoga sessions, you had, well, we usually, before Corona, we would have like pub nights where we would go out to the pub or to a bar and drink and talk. So we had pub nights indoors. So you try to get like a few ciders from the supermarket when you go to the store so you can have it. um, so, you know, things like that actually kept me going, as well as the encouragement to leave my house. Now, it may seem actually pretty weird because we're in a lockdown, you actually want to leave your house, but when you start to go spiral downhill, you actually don't want to leave your room. You actually don't want to get dressed. You actually don't want to walk up that hill. But that encouragement to go outside and enjoy nature was really good for me. And gratefully, I live in an area that is beautiful. My area, Canterbury, is very rural and tight knit, and it has a lot of like farmlands and flower plants, and people here love their gardens. So it's beautiful walking out, and the gardens are really nice. The birds are out, some of them are annoying, but you're still grateful for the birds, you're still grateful for the rabbits, you're still grateful for the cows when you can't see them. So that has kept me going. That has helped me to de-stress, going out, relaxing, talking to a few friends. And then when I do feel like I've been drained from being on my phone or being on Zoom too much, I just switch off, read a book, take a nap. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, that does sound like something so like when you're coming from another country, you come with so many expectations. You come with, okay, I'm gonna do great things, and that's what you're expected of. Because I'm from India, and I know my family, my friends over there, they're like, oh wow. And also, since I told my friends I study virology, they're like, oh, are you helping with like finding the coronavirus cure? And I'm like, there is first off no cure. Second off, I'm not in the trials at all or in the vaccine. I know people who are, but I'm still a grad student research assistant. I'm not anywhere near going. So when they ask me that, I'm like, am I really doing anything significant here? What am I actually doing? Like, what's my relevance here? So since I'm in the path to gain relevance, the path itself just seems so bleak when you're like in four walls and you can't do anything. So so when a person asks me, what's your contribution? I'm like, sitting at home and organizing stuff for a conference. So for me, starting this webinar series is just have this conversation with people so that, you know, people can feel relevant and that feel that they're contributing to something. That's why I wanted to have people come in, talk about their situation, because I know it's probably not just going to be me feeling all of this. There's just definitely a lot of conversations we do need to have, and also the lack of resources during this time where everything moved online. So a main thing for me to start the other webinar series and now this is just to get that resource out there. I know I need as much resources as I can and support system as I can, because again, I did live in India most of my life and I came here to study, so it's a completely different experience, and I'm grateful to have family here. But at the same time, it's still like a lot of them have gone home, and like my campus is virtually deserted because everybody left to where they came from in like other cities. They went back home. So it is really taxing and restricting, but again, it's very important to have a support system that can kind of like ease you through it and like have phone calls. Like you said, I'm reaching out to a lot more friends now. They're like, oh, you're alive. You're actually texting back now. That's great. So I think having that network and that kind of support system is really important, and I'm so grateful for mine. I am so grateful. I have no words. It's really important. So it's really grateful for me. So let's have Janice go next.
Okay, so for me, I've been very frustrated at times. in that as international students, when we come here, I'm not sure if this applies for every one of you, but you feel as if the whole weight of the world is on you. You feel more pressure is applied. Your supervisors, your professors, they expect more. And that has been a huge frustration for me. However, it's good to have a family, as I said, my sister, my mom, who I can call and, vent to at times. My mom who would always advise me, oh, pray about it, have nothing to say, have nothing to do about it. Because sometimes you just want to lash out. Because at times I feel as if, certain in certain situations that I'm not being understood. Some people, they might not be as considerate as they should during this period. And it's frustrating at times. However, I think just knowing that I have people there, people that love me, people that, are there to support me if I need help with anything, I think that helps. It helps with your sanity. And right now, I believe I'm at peace right now because of that.
Yeah, that does seem like the whole weight of your shoulders as an international student. They expect you to be like on the top of things. They expect you to be perfect, like you're some sort of superhuman, but you're really not. You're kind of like everybody else. Just because you were like, you worked to get there. There's a lot of work you did. You just did more work than other people to just get to the position where you are. It doesn't mean you're gonna be perfect or you have more abilities than what other students have. You still are human. You have like emotions and you have your own limitations too. And at this time, that is just stark when they expect more out of you when you're already in a difficult position. It's really hard to have. So, Shanell, let's hear from you next.
Okay. Well, for me, it was like a slap in the face because like I was primed and I was ready to explore China, to explore my city. Like there was winter break, so I was like, ready to get out there. And then as soon as, my semester was finished, and I was like, okay, I ended up going to 2 places actually in January. And at the time, we didn't know that this virus was happening in Wuhan while we were, out and about. And then, like, I think that same week, we went out the Monday, and then, like, the Friday, they told us, okay, no, we can't go anywhere again. It was like, oh, wow, like, what's happening? So, it was just like really difficult for me because I am an outdoorsy person. I like being outside. I like being in nature, preferably, and I don't like being locked inside. So like in the beginning, like I felt like I was going crazy. Like I seriously felt like I was going to go mad. Like I although, like in the beginning, friends would check up, your family would check on you, but like it's not the same. Like you would talk to them and I would feel good for a time when I speak to them, but then when I get off the call, I have to be here still, locked up. So it was still difficult in that sense. Luckily, although some students left, I think the majority of them stayed here. So luckily the dorm is still full. So we still had a number of students, although the Chinese students went back home. So campus was deserted. But I had like the support of my other classmates here, people that I've come really close with. So for the entire winter time, I think we just watched a bunch of movies. I think that's the most movies I've ever watched in my entire life. We watched so many movies. And but then for everyone, it would be like during the semester. So like during the semester when school started, it was just like, to focus on classes and to focus on courses. And I would try to like at least go for a walk every weekend because, you're sitting at your desk for the entire week. I have to be up trying to focus on 3 classes during the day. So, and that takes a toll on you. So I tried to go outside for a walk around campus since we couldn't leave at least every weekend, you know, go over. It's a big, I think I explored the entire campus during this period of time. So I know every corner of the campus by now. So I would go for a ride, go for a walk, you know, just listen to the birds because it was, you know, springtime coming, the birds were coming back, listen to the birds, just enjoy the fresh air for a moment, and then till we came back in. Luckily, we can go outside now since the semester is finished. So it's not as strenuous anymore for me. Like I can go outside freely if I want to and do what I want. I get to go to the gym. I get to go and have fun, like do events and stuff like that. You know, they just opened the cinemas. I can go to the cinema if I want to. You know, so I've just been doing like I can do little things now, but at that point in time I felt like, you know, I was going to go crazy. But luckily, as you said, support system is really good. Like I had my friends here, I had my family here, and just to do little things, you know, go outside, stretch your legs, take a walk. As Christell said, it's really difficult. Like you feel bad for staying inside, but then you don't want to get up and go outside. So it's like, you know, it's difficult, but it's good to go out and just have a change of scenery, and that, you know, kind of like, you know, improves your mood. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of your work, and your university sounds like heaven to me. So like with all of the things they're doing for your student well-being, honestly, that makes me want to consider that your university's program for me as well. Oh my God, that sounds like really like that community. We don't have that here. I haven't heard about from UF for like a really long time, but I'm sure they do stuff, but not as interactive as they have for you. But I do really greatly appreciate you coming and joining us. Yeah. I really appreciate you coming and joining us today and giving all of your input. Thank you so much. And I will definitely send you an email with more info on where we're going to be posting this and all that stuff. And feel free to reach out to me at any time. Gisette should have my email. I'll ask her to send it out in the follow-up email. So thank you so much.
So I mean, the ladies on the chat, I mean, they know me very well, and they know that I'm into fitness a lot. So when the virus has hit Grenada, I decided to build a gym actually at my house. And it was really good. I had some old equipment that I had there from over the years that I had to like dust off and, you know, washed and stuff like that. And I was able to put together an entire gym inside my house. And like I said, the results that I've been gotten so far, you know, I was able to pay more attention to what I was doing. I was able to design a proper weight training program. I was able to put a lot more emphasis in my nutrition and what I'm putting in my body, supplementation, etc. And I mean, since then, I was able to lose over 20 pounds since the pandemic has hit. So, which is really good. In addition, I have started. Well, I designed a website for all my work that I've been doing, publications, research. I also picked up wildlife photography as well. So that's something that, you know, young ecologists can do as well. I also started doing art. I got the Adobe Illustrator art, and I was able to, you know, start playing around with, you know, different pictures, you know, drawing some of my friends, myself, and we put together a logo for my work. You could see it on my Zoom pic right here, Quincy, Augustine Wildlife Research and Conservation. And it's been really great, man. I mean, it's, of course, it might be hard, you know, to just be indoors all day, but I think you definitely have to try to adjust to suit, you know, find things that, you know, you love doing. For me, it was things that I had, you know, wanted to do for a long time, you know, and now that as the pandemic has hit, I see that myself has a lot of time on my hands, so I started doing those little things here and there. I've also started making plans of doing additional research here in my country. Also started, learning different research methods. For example, learning bioacoustics, especially when you do dealing with vocalization of bats and vocalization for birds and other wildlife here. So it's been really great, and I could say that I adjusted nicely. you know and I think these things help me sort of distress a lot. The cases that we have here is I mean, we do have cases. I mean, right now we have no cases at the moment, and the country started opening up a bit, but still, you can't be complacent, and we can't really take too much chances. Now that our borders are opening up now, now you have to be more alert more than anything. So yeah, it's been great, man. And I shouldn't say thanks to COVID, but because of the virus, I was able to tap into different skills that I didn't know I had. I mean, a few years ago, I didn't know I could have built a website. I didn't know I could have really art and stuff like that. So to see that these are the things I'm able to do at the moment, and I'm doing good at it. It's been really great. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like quite a bit of accomplishment, and I'm so envious because I wish I could build a gym in my tiny apartment, but I do a lot of exercises and just exercise, just keep my stamina up for badminton, but that's about it. Like I can go running, jogging, but unfortunately I can't build a gym. I would if I could, but unfortunately that's not gonna happen. But that's really great. Building a website that I can relate to, because right now all I'm doing is updating the ESA Student Section website and making sure we're up to date in all of our different platforms. It takes a lot of time to do that, but I love it still. And just reaching out to more groups on Facebook to get more people interested in our website and also the content that we have. Speaking of which, I do want to finish this off, since I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to finish this off having a little concluding note about the student section. I know Josette mentioned before as to what we do, who we are. We are the students of the Ecological Society of America Student Section. So we are the student side of things, and we definitely have now recently started online events and webinars. Well, this is one. And we offer a lot of resources on our website, so please feel free to reach out. And I'm pretty sure the website is on the chat, on the very top of the chat, so do go check it out. And feel free to email me as well if you have any content ideas you want to share for a future webinar. Please feel free. I would love to hear all of the ideas, because that's one of my goals for the next year, is to make this webinar series more broad and reach a lot more people, because staying at home, why not do online resources for students that need it? That's my email in the chat. So please feel free to send out an email to me, and I will be following up with you as well. So the emails Josette sent, I should be CC'd on them, so you can get my email there as well. So please do feel free to give me more topics that we can talk about. We talked about a lot of topics today, and I was thinking of doing one perhaps on international opportunities in your own institutions for international students, so people can see it, because I know that a lot of people look for different countries as well for pursuing their education. So we would love to hear about different opportunities in your particular place or country. So, and also if you know more people that can come and talk or would be willing to talk to us or in this webinar setting, definitely please let me know so I can reach out to them as well. That said, I don't know if any of you is attending the ESA annual meeting this year, because I do know that the registration, I think, is closes tomorrow, probably tonight or tomorrow. But definitely next year, if you guys have the time, definitely do attend. It is really the largest network.
Yeah, supposed to be presenting at the webinar as well.
Cool, I did not know that. Please, if you don't mind, if you can send me the presentation ID or something like that, that I can see what you're presenting and when, we can definitely because I would love to attend, and I think a lot of our students would love to attend too. So definitely do put that in the chat or send me an email for that. So yeah. So is there anything anybody else would like to talk about before we call this quits? Nope. Okay, but thank you all so much for joining and for your time. I'm so happy that you guys found the time to join us, and hope to see you next time. And this video will be posted in a bit, probably next week, because I have to do a lot of editing for the meeting this week. But I will definitely send you guys the link when I'm done, and hope to see you guys next time. And have a great day and the rest of your week.
Thank
Thank you for having me. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.